Good morning and welcome to episode 2 of Kayfabe Coffee, the show that keeps it real while we pretend it's real. Good morning. I'm your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi, the barista of broken kayfabe, if you will, pouring out hot takes stronger than a Starbucks shaken espresso. Welcome to Kayfabe Coffee here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. It's a beautiful morning, February 3rd. We had Monday Night Raw last night. More good things going on in the WWE. And of course, the Great Brown Hope from the Main Event Wrestling Network is already here. My friend, how you doing this morning? Good to see you in the chat. And he's starting it the only way he knows how. Sparks Joint. He's over there on the West Coast, so that is completely legal. Do what you please, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful day. And we already got Eric coming in hot. Good morning, Eric. He said Raquel screwed again. We definitely are going to be talking about that, but before we do get into Monday Night Raw, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are doing plenty of big things here in 2026. I don't know if you've ever heard of Main Event 24. It's a 24-hour straight wrestling stream that we did last year. We're going to be running that back once again this Memorial Day weekend. We also do a 12-hour stream-a-thon during Labor Day weekend. So there's just a couple of the fun ideas we got over here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. So make sure you're following the network at mainevent_net, because obviously that is the host of this morning show right here. GBH says 6 a.m. wake and bake and kayfabe coffee. Why not? And you know what's funny? I know it's kayfabe coffee, and I think I said this yesterday. I'm still an energy drink guy. I got my Ultra Strawberry Dreams Monster Energy over here. And that's my drink of choice. So that's what we're rolling with. My man, let's get this morning grind. That's right, Jay Gold. I got a friend of yours joining me here in about 30 seconds, too. So hang around and you'll get to see him on stream for the very first time. Eric said, WWE, stop giving me hope about Finn. I can't take another heartbreak. Hey, Eric, it's going to be okay. Maybe not. It might not be okay. I don't want to sit here and give you false promises, but I hear your frustrations. But nonetheless, as I alluded to just a little bit ago, there is a special guest joining us for episode 2. We're only 2 episodes in, and we got ourselves a guest. So a pretty big guest at that. He is 1/3 of the Indie Wrestling Guide here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. He is also a Hall of Fame referee. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jayhawk to the Main Event Wrestling Network. What's up, Jayhawk? How you doing?
Good to be here, my man. Now, I'm a coffee guy. I think I drink coffee or say bad words. Just kidding. I do both. No.
Very fitting for this network. I don't know if you've caught any of our live streams, but we're very unfiltered over here. This is my first time actually getting the chance to interact with you and talk to you, man. So I'm kind of curious. I know we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, but I kind of want to get a little bit of your background, because I know you've been a part of the pro wrestling business for quite some time now. So if you don't mind, explaining to our audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually one of the internet wrestling reporters that people freaking hated back in the early 2000s for a little bit. And that actually what got my foot in the door. I started going to some indie shows and reporting on some of the shows. Some of the guys started talking to me, and eventually one of them like, hey, I run a training school. You always do some referee. Come on out. So I actually trained to be a referee.
Okay.
I've been doing it in 2004. Starting to wind down a little bit here, but Hall of Famer. What else can I accomplish aside from getting signed? Which at this point I'm too opinionated. I'm not getting signed. Like they don't want me back in the locker room. I know exactly what's up.
How old are you now?
47.
Okay, so you're Jay Gold's age. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I have a buddy that's actually a referee. He works with Black Label Pro and Warrior Wrestling. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Jeremy Tillema.
I don't know the name, but I'm familiar with Black Label Pro and Warrior Wrestling, so I've probably seen it work.
Yeah, have you ever got the chance to go work a Warrior or Black Label show, or do you typically work the same companies?
I typically work the same company. I've done some traveling. I've done a few shows in Vegas when Cauliflower Alley's been out that way. I've done shows in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, but for the most part, I stick to my little hour and a half range.
That way you don't have to book a hotel or book a flight and anything like that, and spend extra money.
Yeah, and I had my first daughter when I like 2 years in the business. I didn't want to do a lot of traveling, be away from them too long when they were growing up. My youngest is 11, so
that makes sense. That's understandable. Look at you being a good dad, unlike Jay Gold. Just kidding. That was a shot at that was a shot at Jay Gold. He didn't deserve that. We'll be back tonight for NXT Night Shift. I know we took last week off, but the boys are back in town, and we got Jayhawk here making his network debut. Now I'm curious, my friend, do you watch TV wrestling regularly, or do you just catch the highlights typically?
If I'm available, I try to watch it as it happens. My daughter got a job and doesn't drive, so a lot of times I'm picking her up from work, like during the show, and
Gotcha.
I'll very rarely go back and watch a full show. But
Fair enough.
if I'm home, I will watch. And knowing that this was an option to do today, I did make a point to watch Raw. And go
Yeah,
back and watch Raw. Go.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I try to.
You're not like Butters, where you just rip on WWE constantly, do you?
I mean, I can rip on WWE, but if
You
there's something I
can.
like, if there's something I like, I like it. So
Okay, fair enough. I respect that. Tina,
we got a little bit of both on this show. So
that's what's up. You keeping it honest over here. That's what we always preach here at the network. Is like we don't have tribalism. We are going to be negative at times because you don't like everything you see in professional wrestling. If we don't critique it, they're probably not going to change the way they do things, or at least that's how I internally think. Maybe they don't give a crap of what we think about their product,
yeah,
but
that was always my thinking too. It's like, before I got into business, it was, well, you're not in the business. How can you criticize it? Then I got into business. It's like, well, you're in the business. Why are you criticizing it? Well,
right,
you just don't want anything to ever get better. Like, I don't
yeah.
understand that.
It's a lose-lose situation, it seems like. And yes, Jay Gold, you are catching strays. You got two of your co-hosts here on a morning show. Of course, we're going to have a couple jabs, right, Jayhawk?
We literally recorded this week's show last night. He was catching straight then. I don't know why he's surprised.
What did you guys talk about on this week's IW guy?
We're reviewing the Enjoy Wrestling Violent Night show from December this week. So
Oh, nice. You got any interviews coming up this month?
that's a question for Butters.
For Butters.
I know he's got stuff planned, but I don't think he's got anything finalized. So you'd have to ask Butters that.
Yeah, I heard about the Sam Holloway situation, how the WWE wasn't letting you have that.
It is what it is. I mean, when Butters said he had that lined up, I was kind of surprised because, like, usually that's the case. It's like, oh yeah, it is the case. Hey,
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric's stopping by. He's always in the chats. It's always good to see him. But I say we get in to Monday Night Raw, Jayhawk. You ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Let's start off with a cold open, which is something they don't typically do in the WWE. They usually run the video package and all that good stuff. But Braun Breaker opened up Monday Night Raw, obviously frustrated for what happened at the Royal Rumble. If anybody watching didn't see the Royal Rumble, he was taken out as entrant number 2 by the masked man in the hoodie, in the dark black hoodie that Austin Theory wore the last time that there was the masked man. So there's a lot of speculation on who that could even be. But, I mean, it makes sense that Braun Breaker would come out frustrated, Jayhawk, after getting his spot taken out of the Royal Rumble. Originally, I didn't like that spot. But I'm okay with it if this is just going to turn Braun Breaker into more of a serious character, because I feel like for a couple months on Monday Night Raw, he was kind of floundering a little bit and didn't have any direction. But I think now after this and with this cold opening here to Monday Night Raw, I think this can finally give Braun Breaker something to latch onto for the next couple months. How do you feel about Braun Breaker and the way he's been presented as of late?
I love what they've been doing with it, honestly. I like the fact that Heyman makes you believe that Adam Pearce is absolutely 100% behind it. And Adam Pearce is good enough to make you wonder if he is or isn't, which is fantastic. Braun Breaker, I had pegged as a future WrestleMania main eventer from the NXT, early in the NXT days. He's just got that look. He's got that presence about him. I was hoping this year would be the year. Maybe next year, the way they're playing this off. Because you're right, they're giving that more serious edge. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I enjoyed the LA Knight bit where his music played and they were all looking down the aisle and he came out through the crowd, got a couple of chair shots, and then got the hell out of there before anything could happen. I would have liked to have seen at least Austin Theory sell the chair a little bit longer than he did. Bronson Reed, I kind of get not selling it, but I wish Theory would have stayed down a little bit longer. But yeah, I loved everything about this segment. This was fantastic.
Braun Breaker he's got it. There's a few guys right there in the WWE that you look at and you just know, like you said, future main eventer, Braun Breaker, Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams. They got a lot of new talent finally coming. It's just a matter of time until they start taking those titles. Because right now, the main event scene in the WWE is still relatively old. You got CM Punk holding the world title, and obviously he's going to be facing off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And we got my boy Adam in the chat. He said, I just hope they don't mess it up with Braun. Jayhawk, I think he's too talented for them to really mess up. I feel like Braun Breaker is one of the more for sure things that they got.
Yeah, Braun Breaker's been there long enough that if they were going to screw things up with him, they would have done it by now. That's definitely the kind of guy that Vince would look at and be like, "Oh, I see a future in him, but I need to fuck with him first and see how he reacts before we actually push him." You know, give him that Zack Ryder type treatment. They would have done that with him by now if they were going to do it, I think.
Oh, 100%. And they kind of did it a little bit with Drew McIntyre, too, at the beginning of his career when they were saying he was the chosen one, and then he got put in the 3MB. So not great. Who do you think attacked Braun? So for me personally, Eric, I still think it's Theory. I think Theory could be doing some inside work for Seth Rollins since Theory has ties to Rollins in the past. Jayhawk, did you have any thoughts on who might be the attacker?
Yeah, that's really Theory makes sense when you word it like that. I mean, obviously they want you to think it's Seth Rollins, but I've seen Seth Rollins do the stomp whoever. Even if it ends up being revealed as Rollins, it wasn't Rollins Saturday. There's no way the way that stomp was done. There's a part of me who, because I've seen Adam Pearce wrestle, kind of hoping Adam Pearce, but Adam Pearce has said so many times, no, it's never happening.
Former NWA champion too, right?
Former NWA World Champion multiple times.
You ever get the chance to work NWA?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Thought I had you there. Thought you had a big company under your belt. You probably worked some big matches though in your career.
There are some people on this show I've worked with. We'll talk about if we go along.
Oh, no way. That is awesome. And shout out to the chat too this morning. Very lively. A lot of people interacting. We appreciate you guys. So make sure you're subscribed while you're at it. Eric said, not the Zebros fighting. Yeah, the Zebros are fighting in the main event of WrestleMania. Paperclip Mike from the network also here. Good morning, Mike. Good to see you. Oh, how about this one, Jayhawk? It's got to be Omos. Spot on, GVH. Spot on. Who's Magnus? Why am I blanking on this one?
Nick Aldis.
Oh, that's right. That was his character in TNA, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That would be interesting, actually. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be interesting. The general manager of SmackDown, they're trying to call it Chaos on Raw.
What if they did that as a match? What if we got the GMs one-on-one? Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis. I wouldn't hate that, actually.
Yeah. Both former NWA champions. I would like to see that, actually. I really would.
Maybe that's the direction all this is going with Paul Heyman being frustrated with him. I don't really know. It's got to be leading to something, right? Something. There's got to be a payoff of a match of sorts.
Yeah, it gotta be. It gotta be.
GBH said LA Knight spent his entire NWA and TNA career sucking up to madness. Oh boy, GBH, never change. Tino, I would pop so much. It's not me. Don't worry. It's definitely not me. I'm not the masked man. I'm definitely too small for that. But let's move on here to the first matchup. And one thing I do want to point out, Jayhawk, before we talk about the match itself, Raw started with one match in 1 hour. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the pacing of these shows. That's part of the reason I really don't go back to watch them if I don't watch them live. I'll say it. I mean, you guys will talk. Yeah, obviously you guys have night shift tonight, and I'm not going to step on your toes with that. But I love the pacing of the NXT show. You're usually getting 6 matches. None of them out after welcome. They don't all go 20 minutes.
Right.
You do get a 3 or 4 minute match if it suits the purposes. I'm really looking forward to the NXT show tonight, and I should be able to watch it live. Knock on wood. So
I was gonna say, do you get the CW? What do you got, cable provider wise, or YouTube TV?
Spectrum.
Spectrum. Okay, yeah, I got YouTube TV, so I thankfully get the CW. But tonight is gonna be a great show for NXT. They got a big card there. Obviously, a new NXT champion is gonna be crowned, and we say it all the time on our show too. What you just said about NXT, it is a very well paced show. Where Monday Night Raw just seems like a lot of filler, a lot of backstage, a lot of commercials, and that kind of kills the momentum. And that's why I like going to independent shows. And you're somebody that works plenty of independent shows. That's what's great about the indies. You go from match to match to match. Sometimes you'll have an intermission, but I think that independent wrestling is the lifeblood of professional wrestling. I know we say it all the time here at the network, but you could just, I don't know what I'm even asking you at this point, but I just wanted to show my love for independent wrestling.
Yeah, and honestly, why I kind of hate the fact that WWE doesn't really do house shows anymore. Yeah. The house shows are usually paced like that. Like every once in a while, they'll throw something in, but usually you get match. And it's just a much better pace and much more fun time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So let's talk about Javon Evans versus El Grande Americano. Not the original El Grande Americano, just El Grande Americano. Got to get that straight. I don't know. A lot of people dislike the El Grande Americano stuff. I think it's harmless. I think it's good fun. I enjoy now that Chad Gable is kind of in the mix as well. This match, though, for me personally, didn't really take off the way I expected to with how talented Ludwig Kaiser and Javon Evans are. And they've probably worked before plenty of times in NXT before. Javon gets the win with the distraction, of course, with Chad Gable coming out, the original El Grande Americano. But Jayhawk, how you feeling about all this El Grande Americano stuff? Does it do it for you?
I liked it when it started with Chad Gable. I appreciate that they tried to keep it going when Gable got hurt and gave Ludwig Kaiser and the other guy something to do. I do think it's about run its course, and I kind of hoping they're going to blow this off at Mania with the original. It reminding me a lot of Sin Cara Black against Sin Cara Blue right now.
Oh no, Jayhawk, you probably don't know this. That's about the time frame that I got into wrestling. 2011 is when I became a fan, and that feud was going on during that year.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of those game vibe where it's like this really should be good, and I don't know if I'm really that interested in it, even though it should be good.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's run its course. I think they need to figure a way out of it, but
they probably will do just the blow off at WrestleMania now that you point that out. Because I agree with you. You can't stretch this really any further because then it probably will get stale. But the thing is, and GBH says it all the time when he does his Sabado Gigante mixers here on the network, the fans in AAA love El Grande Americano. Like, he is majorly over when he goes and works those shows. So obviously, it serves a purpose in AAA. It's just like to a point where I don't know how longer you can expose it to the American audience until they just are not reacting to him whatsoever.
Right.
What other comments we got here? El Grande isn't Ludwig. We all know. Quit that blasphemy. Okay, Eric, whatever you say. Who do you think wins the NXT title tonight? I say Keanu. Ricky needs to get called up. Jayhawk, do you have any thoughts? Do you even know who's in the ladder match tonight?
I cannot remember all the names. I cannot remember all the names off the top of my head. Honestly, Ricky's a guy I've worked with. I like Ricky a lot.
Let me see if I can find the participants for you.
I think it's too early for Keanu.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Shiloh Hill a lot. I think it's too early for Shiloh.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, Ricky Saints, Shiloh Hill, Sean Legacy, Jackson Drake, Dion Lennox, Keanu Carver, and Joe Hendry.
You think the people I think are ready for it are ready to be called up, and the people that I don't think are ready, I don't think are ready.
It might be Dion Lennox, honestly.
Dion Lennox is a possibility. You know, Sean Legacy is the one guy who's probably ready for that spot, but not ready for the main roster. So, I mean, that would probably be the way I would go with it if I were booking it. That means he's going to get it? Probably not.
Yeah, originally I thought Ricky was going to get it with the help of Hobbs potentially, but obviously it looks like Hobbs is going to be used for the main roster to start. But then again, who knows? Maybe Royce Keys does show up on NXT tonight and helps Ricky because they got history from AEW. So I thought that was the direction they might go. But you're right, Ricky probably does need to get called up. Shiloh Hill's not there yet. They're still really working on that character in NXT. Sean Legacy doesn't really have a character in NXT right now. He's kind of just the young upstart that puts on really good matches. So that's why I think it could be either Jackson Drake or Dion Lennox. Jackson Drake's a name that's worked the Indies for a long period of time, former Evolve champion. Actually, I think he still is the Evolve champion, right?
I think he still is, yeah.
Do you watch Evolve? I think you weren't you one that said you actually tuned into Evolve from time to time?
If I know Cam's on it, I'll watch it.
That's fair. Sam's your guy. You've gotten the chance to work plenty of his shows, right?
I like Cam a lot.
I've heard good things, too. He's, 24 years old?
Something like that, yeah. He's
young.
He's young.
Definitely, he could be an asset, I think, to NXT. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on NXT in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked they haven't already said, okay, we're ready for you to move to Orlando. I really am. I think good for us up here in Ohio, but we love seeing him. But
I was gonna say you don't mind seeing him at your shows for sure. But I mean, I think maybe Chase U could. I mean, you get a serious bully character in Chase U. I think Sam could pull off that character. I know it's not probably what you guys want to see. You probably want to see serious Sam.
I want to keep Serious Cam, but I don't hate that idea.
See? The little diversity in Chase U, because they need a little something, because that's a faction that really hasn't gained any traction since Duke Hudson got fired and let go. So, other matches from Monday Night Raw, actually not a match, but Gunther would come out to AJ Styles' theme song, classic heel work. Gunther just doing some fantastic things, being the number one heel in the WWE. And of course, Dragon Lee's going to come out and defend his old tag team partner. And the funny thing is, Jayhawk, for a second there, when Dragon Lee's music hit, I was kind of confused because I already forgot that Dragon Lee was a tag team champion with AJ Styles. But now that I know that, it makes sense that this happened. I'm okay with it because I think you'll get a good match out of it.
Yeah, we'll get a good match out of it. I mean, I know no doubt who's going to win that match. The Dragon Lee's not winning that match. Let's be honest about that.
Do you think Gunther even loses this year?
I mean, it depends on where they want to go with it. I would keep the career killer thing going. I mean, I would love to find out that Gunther retired Brock Lesnar sooner rather than later. Be the guy that gets rid of Brock too. And honestly, I've been kind of pitching for when Orton's done, have Gunther be the guy to take Orton out too. Have the career killer take out the legend killer.
Yep.
I think that writes itself.
It has to. You do Lesnar at SummerSlam because it's in Minneapolis. He retires in his hometown. And then Randy probably has another couple years. You do that down the road. But I agree, totally. Maybe even Rey Mysterio.
Maybe.
Even though that could be for Dom. Probably save that for Dom. Let him retire his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I know there are people on this network that would love for Gunther to take care of Rey Mysterio.
GBH, where you at? There you are. He did eliminate him from the Rumble. Who are we talking about again here, Tino? I know the chat's sometimes delayed. What are we talking about here? Do you know who he's referring to? I'm not sure.
Did Gunther eliminating somebody we talked about, I think.
Oh, Dragon Lee, probably. That would make a lot of sense if it was Dragon Lee, because Dragon Lee was in the Rumble. We got one more comment here. Brock. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I got you, Tino. Sorry, it's a little delayed on our end. Eliminated Randy. Okay, I see what you're saying. Appreciate you, Tino. But yeah, so Dragon Lee's probably going to face off against Gunther. Be a fine match. Continues the trend of not doing matches on Monday Night Raw, because after that, the War Raiders were in the ring. We thought we were getting a tag match, but no. Obafemi, the ruler, would come out. It wasn't a match. It wasn't a squash match, but he just beat the crap out of the War Raiders, which, Jayhawk, it's fine with me. Oba's supposed to be this monster, so might as well introduce him to the main roster this way.
Yeah, go. Whichever one Ray Rowe called himself, Eric, I think. Mm-hmm. I've not only worked show with him, I've taken that fucking shotgun knee in the corner.
How did that feel?
Not good.
I can imagine.
But go from a personal standpoint, I'm kind of upset that he's the guy, one of the guys that Oma came out and just kind of took care of. But this is absolutely the way to introduce Obafemi to a larger audience. A lot of people never call Obafemi in NXT. They only call that match with Cody, which ended with Drew coming out and kind of ruining that one too. So I think a great way to debut him in front of that larger audience. Absolutely. I kind of wish they would have used different guys for it.
I get where you're coming from, but I also know that I think it's what's the other Eric and who's Ivar? Ivar's the one that does a lot of help backstage, trains a lot of the big guys in the company. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ivar has gotten work in with Oba in the Performance Center to help hone his craft. But Obafemi is a guy that we have talked about a lot on the network. Every single show has spoken his praises. We know what he's capable of, but I think in some aspects, the squash matches or this, for example, does work with certain guys. Sure, the Ryback stuff a long time ago, it was not working for me. I didn't think those squash matches were beneficial, but I think that is the perfect way to just introduce Obafemi to the main roster casuals. Jayhawk is just have him destroy these tag teams or guys that are lower end on the card and work his way up on the main roster.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do think the roster need guys that are just there. I don't want to say just to lose all the time and they need to pick up some wins so that you still care. But they need those guys that you're not expecting to beat these guys. Because an Obafemi can come in, work a guy that at least had some wins, got some name value. when in the I much I don't want to bring up the mid-90s WWF. It was god awful to watch, but they brought in a bunch of guys just to kind of be. They weren't total jobbers. They would get wins
Enhancement
again.
talent.
Yeah, but yeah, they would get wins against the extra on Superstars and then Luke on Raw to the bigger names.
Right.
We're talking the TL Hopper and Salvatore and Sears and why they want to bring that up. But you need that kind of guy. But you need that kind of guy who can get some wins against some guys, but can be used to be fed to an Obafemi when he comes up, or be fed to a pick your NXT guy that you want to call
Keanu Carver. Yeah.
Keanu Carver.
That would be another guy.
Yeah, I want to see more guys that serve that purpose on the roster anyway.
They don't have many of those anymore. That's just something you don't see in the WWE, is just those big monsters. Like, they had Omos under contract for a decade. They just never used him on the main roster, which shocks me.
Man, he also wasn't good, and let's be honest about it. But
that's true. Hey, but neither was Lash Legend at the beginning, and now Lash Legend's making waves in the WWE, so who knows? But Omos is a lot bigger than Lash Legend.
Well, Lash Legend at least improved. I never saw any improvement from Omos. No.
Fair enough. I'm sure Omos is doing something in AAA. I'm just not watching AAA right now. Tito said that may have been the first time in a while we saw a 2-on-1 match like that. I'm surprised we didn't see two jobbers. Instead, we got the Viking Raiders. Yeah, it honestly is surprising that they use their own talent there. But Obafemi making a statement on Monday Night Raw. You love to see it. And then a tag team that made a statement. I don't know why they made this statement. This could have been done in an email, Jayhawk. The Bella Twins are back. How excited are you for the Bella Twins to be back?
They have their fan base.
They do.
So, I mean, this is not for me, but this is for a lot of people. So, I'll take the L on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we both will take the L on it, and I'm sure everybody in the chat would probably agree with us. Us here at the network, we're not big Bella guys, but you can't deny the fact that these two had a significant impact on women's wrestling. I know Total Divas wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but a lot of women became fans of professional wrestling by watching Total Divas, and they were part of, I guess, the women's revolution. Of course, they weren't like the head of that with the Four Horsewomen were, but they've contributed, right, Jayhawk? That's about as nice as I could be.
I mean, like I said, I've got their they've got their fans. They got people that tuned in just to see them for a while. Yeah. I mean, Great Brown Hope, what they do to get labeled legends. They were there for a long time and brought a lot of eyes to the product. I mean, that's pretty much it. And I'll be honest about that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I know when my son was first born, he would need noise to fall asleep. So I'd put the WWE Network stream on just for background noise. We'd sleep.
Yeah.
He would wake up every 3 hours, and it was always that block where fucking Total Divas was on, and it pissed me off.
Oh.
I never go to Total Divas like 4 times a fucking night.
That brings me back to a time when I would go over to my friend's house for a sleepover. We'd leave the TV on, and then George Lopez would be playing at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'd wake up to that, and that gave me nightmares all the time, just seeing George Lopez on my television screen. But Tino's going to stand with the Bellas. He's acknowledging the Bellas in the chat. Eric wants to know, did you work with Dragon V? I don't know if that's a misspell there. Or
I'm going to be asking about Dragon Lee, and if
yeah,
that's
probably.
No, I have not.
Did Dragon Lee even work independence before he got signed? Wasn't he in AEW?
I don't know enough about Dragon Lee's career, honestly.
I don't know much about the lore either. Impact doing a lot of lifting there. In terms of what? I always forget what we're talking about. Like these comments just trickle in so late. LOL, Jayhawks baby said no. Turn off the Bellas.
I have no idea. I may be it. I don't know.
Oh, Ilya Dragunov is who Eric was asking about. I doubt that as well.
No, not at all. He very rarely
was
worked
overseas.
Before he very rarely worked the States before WWE signed him. So
because he was in NXT UK when he started. So yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's actually talk about a match. Penta versus Bronson Reed. Once again, it's just your standard Monday Night Raw match. There's really nothing too exciting. I do like the 3 luchadors kind of feuding with the Vision right now with Penta, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, because it is giving us some fun matches from time to time, but we got some interference in this one. It was fine. Once again, I think this is just continuing that feud, Jayhawk. Nothing really crazy going on here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do like Paul Heyman's the MVP of this match here. LA Knight comes in, he lays everybody out, read down on the ground. Referee finally wakes up and starts counting, and Heyman screaming at him, "Stop counting! Stop counting!" Heyman sold that beautifully. That was the best part of this match.
See, that's the stuff you probably notice all the time, right?
You learn after a while, like as much as you want to watch the wrestling and what they're doing, you need to look at some of that other stuff too. And that's
There's
part
cues.
of the reason. Yeah, that they're part of the reason why I hate the fact that there really aren't managers anymore. And because a lot of times the manager, like a Paul Heyman, can really enhance what's going on just with a facial reaction or just with that reaction. Stop counting. What are you doing? Those little things people don't pick up on because they don't do them anymore.
That's a good point. I don't think about that stuff, but now that you mention it, especially in the WWE, there really is the manager is a lost art. It's basically just Paul Heyman. AEW, at least, like, yeah, they got a few of them over there, but I do agree with you. I think it's super beneficial, especially in times like this, to help out in a match and call a spot like that.
Yeah, but even in AEW though, Don Callis comes out, he goes to commentary. MVP comes out, he goes to commentary. They're not really being managers either.
Good point. I'm trying to think of like a manager that actually stays ringside now in maybe Stokely Hathaway for FTR.
Yeah, when he's not doing the wheelchair gimmick, yeah.
Yeah, or on commentary. That is a good point now that you mentioned. I didn't think about that. When AEW brings out their managers, just throw them on commentary. There you go. Interesting. But yeah, I'm totally blanking here. I've seen a lot of wrestling. Who won this match? Was it Penta or was it Bronson Reed?
Penta by countout, man.
That's right, Penta by countout. Okay. The Logan Paul stuff is sketching me out, man. I don't think that's working with the Vision.
I mean, if you want my opinion, Logan Paul's not working anyway. I hate that kind of a bitch, but
I mean, you can at least admit he can work.
Well, he can work. I've never said anything negative about his talent. He's a piece of shit, and he shouldn't have a forum.
That's fair. You can have that. Yeah, I totally.
And I know people who know the Paul brothers and have said flat out they've always been like that. They're pieces of shit. So.
That doesn't surprise me because the character we see on TV, he's definitely a piece of shit. That's for sure. But speaking of pieces of shit, Dirty Dom returns, the Intercontinental Champion and the Mega Champion. Of course, he's there to introduce the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. So. Two big things here to digest. Obviously, Dom has been off TV for a couple of weeks dealing with an injury that I'm not really sure what the injury was, but hopefully this means that he's back and defending that title very soon. So I was happy to see that, Jayhawk. Also, totally fine with Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble. They did even hint towards Raquel Rodriguez potentially getting in that title scene, as we will talk about after this segment. Obviously, she didn't get that title, but a couple good things here. We're getting Dominic Mysterio back, Jayhawk, who gets a lot of heat, and Liv Morgan getting to celebrate, and we basically know what direction she's headed in as well going into WrestleMania now.
Yeah, this was fine. I'm impressed at how much I actually enjoyed Dom's work when he first came in. And we talked, Great Brown Hope will talk about it. Rey Mysterio only cared about Rey Mysterio. Well, he cared about Dom. If he did everything he could to get Dom over, and for a long time, it didn't fucking work.
Like 2 years, right? He was just that generic baby face with his dad.
Yeah, but they end up getting it to work, and Dom is probably the number 2 heel on the brand right now, behind Gunther. If we're being honest about it. So,
yes.
Yeah. So I like what they're doing. The time was great for Liv. Liv been the bridesmaid too many times. Twice she was the runner-up in the Rumble. Twice she was the runner-up in the Elimination Chamber. All within like a 3-year period. At some point, she had to win the big one. So that was the perfect time to do that. I was okay with that. Yeah,
I think her match with Stephanie could be pretty good if that's the direction they decide to go. But there is also a way I think Raquel could still work her way into it and maybe make a triple threat.
Yeah, we'll talk about the match here in a minute, but I was really kind of hoping Raquel would win it and they would kind of be going with Raquel against Liv.
Yeah,
They
let's
just kind of
talk.
take it anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about the match. Obviously, it was a street fight, which I hate WWE street fights because they're really never that extreme. But then again, what am I expecting from the WWE with Street Fighter Extreme Rules stipulations? But nonetheless, I thought it was very good for what it was. Raquel Rodriguez has really been on a heater as of late, and you were kind of getting to it. I think that you would have liked to seen her win that title. I wouldn't have mind that. And then right when I heard that Stephanie Vaquer got a new theme song, I'm like, that's it. She got Def Rebelled. The aura is over. Take the title off of Stephanie Vaquer. Put it on Raquel. We're done here. But no, it was a good match. How did you feel about all of it?
No, I like the match. Rhea did more for Dom than a Kung Father. I like that, Eric. I like the match. This was an excuse to do a weapons match in an ECW town, and that's what it was.
Oh, I forgot they were in Philly. Yeah,
yeah, they were in Philly. I mean, that's what this was. They're at least they've had the matches, so it's not like it's out of place for them to do a street fight. But yeah, I mean the match was what I expected it to be. So I was okay with it. Yeah, I mean, you had the angle with Raquel going, "Hey guys, stay out of my business. I want to do this on my own," and Liv and Roxanne coming out anyway.
right.
So they're still kind of teasing in that direction of Raquel leaving the Judgment Day, going out on her own. Yeah,
Do you
but
think she would be able to succeed on her own? Because I'm a little about it, at least with her mic skills.
the mic skills would be the issue with that. I'm not sure. I honestly, I think Liv or Roxanne both would be better suited leaving that group just because they can talk their way out of it a lot easier. But
Ooh, that's the direction they're probably going to go after. I think Liv's probably going to take that title at WrestleMania. And then I think it was Mike. Yeah, he said Raquel versus Liv at SummerSlam. I'm going to throw a twist into that match at SummerSlam. Judgment Day triple threat. Raquel, Liv, Roxanne at SummerSlam. Why not?
yeah, I have a feeling that's the way that they would go with it too. But yeah, I mean, again, the match was fine. The storyline played out fine. I think Raquel winning it and having Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania kind of wrote itself, and they didn't go that direction. Yeah. But
I don't know if you're like me. I prefer there to be an actual story to my matches. I would rather have a match at WrestleMania that has a pre-existing story like Raquel and Liv than a better wrestling match that you could get maybe then out of a Stephanie versus Liv. I'm more storyline driven.
I can go either way depending on the circumstance.
I guess that's a fair point.
But for WrestleMania, yeah, I want there to be stories behind it as much as possible. I mean, if you've got two guys that you realize, oh crap, these guys aren't on the card, we need to put them on the card, and it will be a great match. You can do that,
right?
But WrestleMania, it's like your season finale. Like everything, you got to wrap everything up and prepare for the next season. So for WrestleMania, I absolutely agree. There should be the vast majority of it should be let's wrap up these stories and get ready for new ones.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do with the main event of night 2. At least I'm assuming it's going to be the main event of night 2 because this was the final segment of Monday Night Raw. The OTC, the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble, came out and basically just called out CM Punk. And I loved his reasoning here. Now, Jayhawk, you might not have got the chance to see my episode yesterday. I made a comment on the fact that Roman Reigns winning the Rumble is safe. And Roman Reigns is my second favorite wrestler of all time. And I still acknowledge my tribal chief over here. I just would have liked to seen Braun Breaker. And that was, once again, just personal preference. But I can put my hand up when I'm wrong. When I watched this segment and I saw that real back and forth and the authenticity between these two, I was like, yeah, I get it. This is a main event of WrestleMania. I don't know about you, but that's how I felt coming out of this segment.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page here, Kyle. Absolutely. I got the same way. I thought this was the year for Braun Breaker. I would have had him win the Rumble. Roman Reigns gets the cave choice. By that same token, though, with what they said in this promo, if you forgot their history between them, now you remember their history between them. Let's go back to Reigns' first night in the company. I brought you guys in.
The Shield.
Yeah, you wouldn't have even been in the company if it weren't for me. Yeah, and then Roman Reigns going, well, yeah, but you got to realize, like, when they wanted to bring you back in, they had to get my permission to bring you back in, and I hate you anyway. So you're lucky that I told them it was okay for you to come back in.
Right.
It was They were shooting a little bit without shooting. That's where the shoot comments work. When you can do shoot comments that make sense within the context of a wrestling story, that's when you do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't just throw them out there for the sake of throwing them out there. Oh, the internet mark will
Hangman
get this one.
Page?
No. Yeah.
I knew exactly who you might have been alluding to. I mean, there's multiple people that do it, but Hangman's the one that...
That's not specifically the one I was thinking of, but that absolutely does fit.
That is the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching it a lot longer than you. I'm going back to the fucking Russo era Raw and shit too. But
I was gonna say, I was born in '93, Jayhawk, so I missed a little bit of that time. I missed a lot of time. 2011. I mean, I was a late bloomer to this, but ever since, here's the thing: it's been 15 years now that I've been a fan of professional wrestling. I could truly say I have never missed a Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, NXT, or AEW Dynamite in the last 15 years. That's a mark.
I can absolutely say I have, but I used to be in that route, and I'm not going to lie. Now, but again, that's perfect though. But again, you got those shoot comments that make sense in the story. These are things that you can look at on television and be like, okay, yeah, absolutely. The Shield came in to help Punk out for those first few months before they took off, and I mean, and they played off that with the Punk and Seth feud too. Punk going, hey, I brought you. Yeah, I don't know why you hate me so much. I brought you in here. Like,
right.
Yeah. So when you can do things like that, it absolutely makes sense. It made me want to see this match, which I was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to see this match.
Same.
And they still used it to build the Punk Balor thing. But Punk, instead of addressing Roman right away, decided to address Balor first. Roman goes, hey, wait a fucking minute. What are you doing? Yeah, so you're multiple things going on in this. Oh.
There's a lot of layers to it. Like, both men played true to their characters there. Like, CM Punk doesn't give a shit about Roman Reigns' aura. He's going to address the guy that called him out earlier in the night. And then Roman's like, wait a minute. I'm the guy. I'm the OTC. Don't disrespect me like that and talk to somebody else while you're in the ring with me. So it was just great war of words between the two. These are two guys that are probably in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time, too. So that's why it was crazy for me to, when the Rumble happened, that I kind of reacted and I was like, sigh. It was just a sigh. Like, I was like, okay, sure, we're doing that same thing again with Roman Reigns. But then again, every single time they give the ball back to Roman Reigns, he proves why he is the number one guy in the WWE. He literally has carried this company for the past 8 to 10 years.
And for the last 5 years until people cared.
True. They didn't realize the talent was there. Like, I was one of the OGs, big dog fan. I had his babyface merch and everything. I don't know about you, but I've been with Roman Reigns since the very beginning. I saw it.
So I always saw a lot in Roman Reigns. When 2014, 2015 came around, they split up the Shield, and you kind of knew Roman was the guy they wanted to push in there. 100%. I was okay with that. And when Roman got hurt in that era, I was actually like, okay, this will actually benefit him. Because he can come back right around the time of the Rumble. People will miss him. And then the Flaming came out that year, and he won Superstar of the Year, even though he hadn't been on TV in 6 months. And everybody kind of went, wait a fucking minute. There's no fucking way. What the hell? And that killed him for the next 5 years. It really did. I mean, he would get those moments where, when he won the belt in Philly and got to lay out Triple H and lay out Vince when he got the belt back in Philly the night after Survivor Series. He got that big pump. Right. But that was because he beat up Triple H and Vince McMahon. The next week, it was back to, we don't want to see this guy anymore. Yeah,
he faced Brock and Triple H, like, it seemed like every other year.
Way too many matches with Brock too.
But
that's Brock being picky about who he working with too, and not anything. That's not on Roman, in fairness. But
that's why I went on a rant yesterday about Ilya Dragunov and how he looked in the Royal Rumble with Brock. But then somebody made a comment that Brock probably doesn't even know who Ilya Dragunov is, so that's probably why Brock was just laying it in. He did make Ilya look bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if Brock meant to, honestly.
Probably not. Right. He don't know. He don't care. He's there to collect a paycheck and be big, because that's what Brock Lesnar does. You don't have to like him. A lot of people don't. I don't. But it is what it is. I understand the value that he brings to the brand. But that was Monday Night Raw pretty much in a nutshell, Jayhawk. It was a pleasure getting to chat it up with you. This is the first time me and you have ever even interacted. But it feels like I've known you for 10 years, brother. So once again, thanks, man, for stopping by. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to do anything I can with the network. The schedules don't match up a lot for me, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm happy to help out. I do have one day I'm taking off next week. I might be able to hop in with you. I'll get with you privately, and we'll keep up doing this next week sometime. So.
I think we definitely need to do it again because I'm sure everybody in the chat enjoyed it. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. We'll get Paperclip Mike here on Kayfabe Coffee as well. But Jayhawk, before we go, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find you and what you got coming up this week?
Okay, so obviously the Indie Wrestling Guide right here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. It'll drop Thursday morning, for probably right around midnight. We're going to be reviewing Enjoy Wrestling Violent Night from December with the Billy Dick and Kenny Kiss Till Death Do Us Part I Quit match. So that one's a fun recording session. This should be a fun show. You can follow me on the social media. Get at Ref Jayhawk on everything except Instagram, which is Jayhawk1539. I'm not booked anywhere until the 21st as far as wrestling bookings go. I'm hitting that age where I'm limiting myself. I can't fucking do it anymore, unfortunately. But that's it. That's where you guys can find me. I'm always available on social media. So not as much on Twitter anymore because that's successful. But come find me.
Go find Jayhawk. Go follow him. Check out the Indie Wrestling Guide dropping this Thursday. And I'll be back once again this Thursday. Taking tomorrow off because, of course, NXT Night Shift will be recorded tonight. And I don't feel like talking about NXT twice in the matter of 14 hours. That's just too much NXT talk for anyone to take in. So no Kayfabe Coffee tomorrow, but once again, we'll be back on Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, also OTM will be recording. We'll be talking all things Royal Rumble. So plenty of good stuff going on here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more main event content because we are on the road to 300 over here and we are getting closer. So scan that QR code, follow the network on all the socials at mainevent_net. Once again, thank you, Jayhawk, for stopping by for episode 2 for Kayfabe Coffee, and I'll see you guys Thursday morning once again as we're recapping AEW Dynamite.